The lecture is not starting in earnest, but just for you to have something in the next 10 minutes. This is basically the beginning of Rudiment, and this is grade 1 music theory, lesson 1.
Picture, though.
Adeola.
I'm just hearing your voice. You don't say anything.
You are distracting me. Find out what you did. You can
I don't know. I've been trying.
You can leave the meeting and enter again. Please, leave the meeting and join again. Leave the meeting and rejoin.
Again, I'm seeing something.
Leave the meeting and rejoin. So, please, if the rest of you can see my screen, let me be sure that it is not a general thing. Is there anybody here that cannot see my screen? Please, if all of us are saying, if you are seeing my screen, just type yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
If you are seeing what I'm sharing, type yes. Type yes. Are you there? If you are seeing what I am sharing, type yes. If you can see my screen, type yes, please. Okay. Okay, you are seeing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Adeola, look out for what you did for yourself. I think she has left the meeting. If anything happens, you can exit and come back. Exit and come back. Exit the meeting and come back. So let me go back to what I was saying that time. So music is about all this. I know so many of us have gone past this level of lines and spaces, but like I said, it's not that's no number of amount of knowledge that we acquire that is too much. So I will just briefly go through this and then we end the meeting. So this is staff notation in music. Music is written down in a number of different ways around the world. In the West, most instruments use a method called staff, staff notation. So the music staff or stave is made up of 5 horizontal lines, and which are the lines you are seeing here where my mouse is now. These are the 5 horizontal lines. Now these lines are, basically meaningless because what you're having here are just lines and spaces. It doesn't make sense. There is something that must come upon it that will make it a staff. As it is now, it is just basically lines and spaces. Even what you are seeing here now doesn't make sense as well. You cannot give name to any of these notes. You cannot give name to any of these notes. So here you see some notes placed on the lines here and some placed in the spaces. But as it is like this, they don't make sense. You can't call any of these things anything until the lines and spaces are defined. And how do we define them? We define them with clef, what is called clef. Clef. Now we have the treble clef. So we'll basically be talking about it now. I have about 4 minutes more. This is the clef, the treble clef. Now, treble clef is also called the G clef. Now, why this is so is that okay, it said we always put a clef at the beginning of the music staff. A clef is a symbol which identifies one note by name. We can work out all the other notes from this one. The most common clef is the treble clef, which looks like this. This is a treble clef. So without the clef inserted on the lines, the lines and spaces, it remains senseless. Okay, the treble clef tells us where on the music staff we should write the note G. We draw the treble clef so that the curly bit in the middle forms a sort of circle around one line on the staff. A note written on this line is a G. So now, for instance, I'm going to leave us with this. This is how to draw a treble clef. You circle this line, this thing round the second line. You circle it, you call it round the second line. It must not go beyond the first space and the second space. The first space and the second space, and it must encircle round about the second line. And so if this is G now, if this line is called the G line, it now will make sense. If anything is placed anywhere within this box here, you can be able to determine what they are. Okay, Sister Shoma, you have a question? And you can ask your question. Sister Shoma, if you can hear me, if you are raising your hands. Sister Shoma Duru. Okay. So this is the treble clef. The treble clef, like I said, is also called the G clef. The G clef. Now, I said earlier that these lines and spaces are senseless. They don't make sense. All these notes here are nothing. They don't make sense. These ones here don't make sense, except these lines and spaces are defined by placing a treble clef on the second line of the line of the 5 lines. You have 5 parallel lines here. Is it parallel? Yes. You have 5 parallel lines here. And so the G clef run round about the second line. And so it is called the G clef. That makes that second line, the name of that second line now is G. Is G. So that is why this is called the treble clef. Right? Okay. So okay. If you are writing this down, write it down because I want to remove it now. So sometimes it is called G clef because of this that I have explained before. Now we know where the note G is. So once you have placed this, now you know where the note G is. And so having known where the note G is, we can work out all the other positions of notes on the staff. It's like when we are doing a stage arrangement that we give number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Sometimes if you forget your number and the person next to you still remembers his or her number, you will be able to, through that, remember what your number is. So since we have fixed the G clef on the G line, now it will tell you what the next line should be, or the next space should be, or even the space and the line below it, what they are. Okay, so in music theory, we use the letter names A to G, always written in capital letters to identify notes. After G, the next note is A. and we start from
Our music, that
uh,
music is there for a long time.
you know,
Now,
the treble clef is G clef. So after that G, the next line is A. All right, the next space, the next space is A. So when you get to A, when you get to G, you go back to A. There is no H in music. So you start from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then when you get to G, you go back to A and come back again to G, just like that. That I'm sure we know it. So in music theory, we use the letter names A to G, always written in a capital letters to identify notes. After G, the next note is A because we start the sequence again. G is on a line on the music staff. So the next note up is A, which is in the space. Right? This is the example that you have here now. This example you have here now. Okay, so you have G on the line where you have the treble staff, strummed, and then A on the space. Okay, so the next note up is B, which is on the line, which is on the third line. G is on the
okay.
second line. B is on the third line. So what you have here now is GAB, which is this line, this space, and this line, gab, if you like. So here are all the lines and spaces of the music staff.
I don't even understand this, but I know start from time.
Amen. So please, what I will not condone is indiscipline. If you don't understand, you ask me a question. Don't just say you don't just understand. If you don't understand anything, ask me a question.